Hello friends, it's your girl T, aka the nappy-headed jojoba, and this is supposed to be a quick video, which for me means it'll probably still be like 9 minutes. But I just wanted to pop on because yesterday was hair day. I washed and deep conditioned my hair, and I set it on Curlformers, which has been my routine for the past few months. I've been using the Curlformers to help stretch my hair so that I can try to prevent single strand knots and just make it easier to style it for, the next several weeks until my next wash day. This was my third time using Curlformers, and I have videos on the previous 2 times I used them. The first time being with real Curlformers and the second time being with bootleg Curlformers. I'll link both of those videos in the description box, but today I use the bootleg ones again, mainly because the real Curlformers that I have are only 22 inches long, and the bootleg ones that I have are 25 inches long. With both of them, I have a lot of sections of hair that are too long and poke through the ends. Unfortunately, I found that even with using the longer 25-inch bootleg Curlformers, I think almost every Curlformer had hair sticking out the end since the last time I used them. I don't think my hair has grown all that much. I mean, it's only been maybe a month and a half since the last time I used them, and my hair doesn't even grow fast. But for nearly every single one, except in the places where my hair breaks the fastest, which is the very front of my head and my nape, I had hair sticking out. So I went through pretty much every satin roller I had, and once those ran out, I went to perm rods just to try to get those ends at least stretched in some way since they weren't inside of the Curlformer. Now you can stretch a Curlformer after you've installed it so that you can kind of like get the ends of your hair to scoot back inside, but I don't like to do that because the reason those ends of your hair are able to kind of scoot back inside the Curlformer when you stretch it out is your hair is no longer being stretched to its maximum potential with the Curlformer. In other words, it's being stretched a bit less than it would be if you left those ends hanging out. So my solution has been to just use satin rollers on the ends, and this time I just had way too many ends. I had more ends sticking out than I had satin rollers. So that was kind of annoying, but this time around the real experiment was seeing how Hawaiian Silky worked with using the Curlformers to stretch my hair. Now, in both videos that I did before and in this one, my goal is not curls, and as you can see, I don't really have them. I like the Curlformers for stretch. I don't like those Shirley Temple curls that they kind of promote in the pictures that you see. But it's interesting to see that using this product, which is technically a gel, provided essentially no hold whatsoever. Now I kind of knew that would be the case because this gel, this Hawaiian Silky, I mentioned this in my favorite hair products video, my ride or die hair products, and as I said in that video, I don't rely on this for hold. I don't think it's good for that. I think it's good for moisturizing. So that's how I use it. I use it as a moisturizer, and I wasn't really expecting it to give me great hold, but I am surprised at how much less hold I got from it compared to my first time using the bootleg Curlformers, where I used an actual moisturizer. I actually got more defined curls that time around. However, me being me, I actually prefer this result. I love that it has more volume. If you saw the other video with the bootleg Curlformers that I did, my hair was a lot flatter. The curls were much more distinct, but my hair didn't have this height, it didn't have this fullness, and it also didn't really look quite as long. I feel like I'm getting a little bit more hang time with this result. I should note that I sat under my dryer for about an hour 15 maybe, but it's July and I live in Los Angeles and it was just too damn hot. I actually broke my promise to myself to never sleep in Curlformers again, and I did leave them in overnight. So you can see I was looking pretty exhausted this morning when it was time to take them out. I positioned the installation of the Curlformers in such a way that my shave side was sort of open so that I would have a surface to sleep on, and it worked out decently well compared to last time, which was an absolute nightmare. And then I just took all the Curlformers out this morning. Once again, I was dealing with quite a few issues of hair strands being snagged inside of them. I would actually sometimes have hair strands stuck inside of the Curlformers that I would have to kind of push out with the hook, which is very annoying, and sometimes they would just get caught on the actual opening on the end of the Curlformer. I don't really recall if I had that happen too much with the real ones, but it's been a significant issue with the bootleg ones both times that I've used them now, where I would say 50% of the Curlformers that I removed today would snag on hair, so that's really not good. Here's a close-up shot of just the texture that I was left with after taking all the Curlformers out. As you can see, again, not very much definition. It actually looks a lot like the results I got the first time I used the Curlformers when I used the brand name Curlformers. You know, just sort of poofy and voluminous and somewhat defined, but really not at all. And to be honest, these are results that I prefer because I'm not going to wear my hair like this. I don't want the curls, I want it to stretch, so I'm just gonna put my hair in a bun or something and keep it moving. It's interesting that the commonality between both times my hair turned out really like voluptuous like this was sitting under the dryer. I sat under the dryer with the real Curlformers, and then I sat under the dryer this time with the bootleg ones. So I'm wondering if maybe that's a factor in getting results more like this, where I have more volume and fullness, because I did 100% air drying the first time I used the bootleg ones, and the results were completely different. Granted, again, the products were different, but you would think that using a gel, even though, again, this is not something that I would consider has tons of hold, you would think that it would still give me equal hold to a moisturizer, which is what I used the last time I used the bootleg Curlformers. Going forward, I think I may continue using this because I feel like it's nice and lightweight. When I use my moisturizer by Chemet, I'm not convinced that my hair was even 100% dry by the next day, and that was with sitting under the dryer. Last time around, I used a much lighter moisturizer by Shea Moisture and just a little bit of oil, and my hair was totally dry. This time, again, my hair is totally dry using this and just my little aloe vera spray leave-in that I make underneath. I've done a video on that. If you haven't seen it, it's right here. So I think that this is kind of the best of both worlds. I got the fullness that I liked from the first set with the real Curlformers, but it also dried overnight, which is critical because I don't want to deal with wet hair after going through an entire night having to sleep uncomfortably with Curlformers in my head. Anyway, just wanted to share my latest Curlformers trials with you guys because, you know, as I continue to experiment, I thought some of you guys might be interested in seeing what I'm doing and what my results are like. So, quick one for today. Happy 4th of July. I have to start getting dressed and going to 4th of July cookouts and pool parties. A few of my friends are having stuff this year, so it's kind of surprising. I usually feel like a hermit loser who never does anything or goes anywhere, but I've got a surprisingly active social life this weekend, and I hope you guys are enjoying your 4th of July, and I will see y'all in the next video. Bye-bye.
That's some nappy-headed hose there, I'm gonna tell you that now.